A funeral hall fell silent, except for one sound and a dog's desperate barking. No one understood why the German shepherd wouldn't stop howling in front of his master's coffin. But when they finally discovered the reason, it left everyone in tears and changed their lives forever. Before we start, make sure to hit like and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. The church was silent, except for the soft rustle of uniforms and the faint hum of the organ. Rows of white lilies lined the aisle, their fragrance heavy in the air. Draped in the national flag, Sergeant Bradley lay peacefully inside a polished oak coffin, his face calm, almost as if he were only asleep. On his chest rested a tiny brown puppy, curled against his uniform like it understood the silence around it. Beside the coffin stood Rex, Bradley's loyal German shepherd. His ears were perked, eyes fixed on his master, chest rising and falling with quiet, anxious breaths. Suddenly, he let out a sharp bark that echoed through the hall. Mourners turned, startled. Whispers rippled through the crowd. Some said the dog was grieving. Others murmured that animals can sense spirits. But Officer Mark, Bradley's closest friend, felt something different, something deeper, something urgent behind those barks. Rex wasn't just a service dog. He was Bradley's shadow, his protector, his brother in uniform. Their story began 3 years earlier, on a scorching desert mission where every second meant survival. Bradley had been caught in an explosion that sent dust and fire through the air. When others couldn't reach him, Rex did. The dog dragged his wounded handler out of the debris, his paws torn and bleeding. From that day on, their bond was unbreakable. They trained together, ate together, even slept in the same barracks. Bradley often said, "If anything ever happens to me, promise you'll look after Rex, he's family." His team laughed at the time, not realizing those words would echo one day at his funeral. After Bradley's final mission went wrong, Rex stopped eating. He would sit by the door every night waiting for footsteps that never came. Now standing beside the coffin, his eyes were restless, not of confusion but of knowing. He wasn't just mourning. He was trying to tell them something. Mark watched the loyal dog, his throat tightening. Whatever Rex was sensing, it wasn't grief alone. There was something more, something no one else could see. The priest's calm voice echoed softly through the hall, but Rex wouldn't stop. His low growls turned into sharp barks, echoing off the high ceilings like cries for attention. Every head turned toward him. Some mourners frowned, others whispered nervously. The once peaceful funeral had turned uneasy. "Get the dog out of here," someone murmured from the back. But Mark raised a hand. "Wait," he said quietly. "Rex isn't aggressive. He's trained. He's sensing something." Rex's nails scraped against the coffin's polished surface. He pressed his nose near the side, whining, pacing, then returning again, over and over as if guarding it. The puppy resting on Bradley's chest shifted ever so slightly, but no one noticed. Mark felt a chill crawl down his spine. He'd seen Rex react to explosives, hidden weapons, even fear, but never like this. The dog's movements were too focused, too deliberate. Then Rex let out one long, mournful howl that silenced the entire room. His tail stiffened, his gaze fixed on the coffin as though something inside demanded attention. Mark's instincts kicked in. This wasn't just grief. It was a signal, one he couldn't ignore. After the service ended and the mourners left, Mark stayed behind with 2 other officers. The chapel lights dimmed, the scent of lilies still heavy in the air. But Rex refused to move. He stood guard at the coffin, tail low, ears twitching, eyes locked on his master's still form. "He hasn't calmed down once," one officer muttered. "It's like he's protecting something." Mark knelt beside the dog. "Easy, boy," he whispered, running a hand over Rex's head. But Rex only pressed closer to the coffin, sniffing, whining softly. Then came it, a faint, almost imperceptible sound. A tiny whimper. Mark froze. His eyes darted to the coffin. "Did you hear that?" The other officers exchanged puzzled looks. Then it came again, a weak, trembling cry. Heart pounding, Mark rushed to unlatch the lid. Slowly, carefully, they lifted it open. Gasps filled the room. The tiny puppy, the one they all thought was lifeless, moved. Its chest rose weakly. A fragile sound escaped its mouth. A faint cry for life. Rex immediately leaned in, licking the puppy's fur with trembling urgency, as if saying, I told you. I knew. The room fell completely silent. The faint cry echoed again. Soft, fragile, but unmistakably alive. One of the officers stumbled back, his hand over his mouth. "It's breathing," he whispered, disbelief heavy in his voice. Mark blinked hard, unable to process what he was seeing. The puppy, the same one that had lain motionless through the funeral, was alive. Its tiny chest rose and fell in shallow, uneven breaths. "Call the medic," Mark shouted. Within seconds, the station's on-call doctor rushed in. He carefully examined the trembling bundle of fur, then looked up, stunned. "The pup must have gone into shock," he said quietly. "Its heartbeat was so faint it seemed gone. But somehow, it's still here." Mark's throat tightened. "Rex knew," he murmured, glancing at the German shepherd. The loyal dog stood tall beside the coffin, tail wagging faintly, eyes glistening. He hadn't been barking in grief. He'd been begging for help. Tears welled in Mark's eyes as the doctor wrapped the pup in a warm cloth. The church that had been filled with sorrow moments ago now pulsed with astonished relief. Against all odds, life had found a way back, and Rex had been its voice. Days later, the story of the miraculous rescue spread through the base like wildfire. News reporters called it the bark that saved a life. The tiny pup, once thought gone, was now strong enough to open its eyes. A soft brown, just like Rex's. Mark stood beside Rex as the vet gently handed him the puppy. "He's a fighter," she said with a smile. "Just like his father must have been." Mark looked at the small name tag they'd placed on its collar. Brady. Named in honor of Sergeant Bradley, the man who had given his all. Rex sniffed the tag, then licked the puppy's head, settling protectively beside him. From that day on, Rex and Brady were inseparable. Wherever Rex went, the puppy followed, a living symbol that love and loyalty never die. The military unit later decided to train Brady as a service dog, carrying forward his father's legacy. At the ceremony, Mark saluted Bradley's framed photo. "You saved lives even after you were gone, my friend." Rex gave a soft bark as if answering that salute. The hall was quiet once again, but this time the silence felt peaceful, hopeful, alive. Sometimes love doesn't end when life does. Rex's loyalty proved that true bonds go far beyond words and even beyond death. In that quiet funeral hall, he didn't just bark. He spoke for a life that still had a chance. Today, little Brady runs by Rex's side, carrying his father's spirit forward, a living reminder that miracles often come wrapped in fur and faith. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell, and stay with us for more true, heartwarming stories that remind us how love always finds a way.